Hello, everybody. Welcome to Telli Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. This episode is sponsored by Classic Cat and 8 Lab. I am here with the founder of Market, a super dope brand. I can't wait to talk about it. Cheers to all your success and all that you are doing.
I appreciate it. Well, one half coffee, one half martini.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. So, for the people that don't know who you are or how you started your brand, can you tell us how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I can give a little quick synopsis. I have the classic story of like just trying to, fight my way into the game and trying to get into this industry, especially streetwear being such a, I don't know, I'd say like insider's world where like you got to know someone, etc. For me, I have the classic story of kind of coming up with the back end. In high school, I started selling t-shirts out of the back of my car. My nickname at high school was Mikey Merchandise. I got expelled from high school for literally selling and distributing on campus, which is the same charge for like selling drugs.
Wow.
But I was charged for selling t-shirts on campus.
In high school?
In high school, I created a shirt that basically like these kids got in a fight over. They wanted one, they didn't get it. I ended up getting called in the principal's office. I almost got expelled.
Wait, what was this shirt?
It was literally just a shirt of a kid that, I just did like a funny tee of him. I got him to sign a release of the shirt. He ended up not getting one. He was so pissed he wanted one. He ended up fighting a kid for the shirt. I ended up in the principal's office. My parents had to call in and just like, they were like, what the hell? He's just selling shirts.
Right.
But for me, that was like the first moment of validation to recognize like, oh, I made something that made people feel something. And ultimately that moment gave me that kind of gratification that like, oh, I'm doing something special. When I grew up playing basketball, whatever, like, I was the sixth man. I wasn't like, starting. I wasn't the best player out there, but like that was that first moment where I was like, oh, I could be pretty good at this,
Right.
And so through that, I ended up, applying. I ended up getting into Parsons School of Design, which is like a iconic fashion school in New York. I did a year of doing that. And while I was there, I basically ended up at an internship, which, was with this guy named Chase Johnson. His nickname is Chase Infinite. He used to be the manager and kind of guy who ran all of A$AP Rocky's world. And I was just this intern, essentially working for him prior to any of that happening. I just was this kid rolling his backwoods in the back of the store while he was like working, running, business, whatever. And, there's like just so many people crossing paths. I didn't even know who they were at that time. And so for me,
this is after 1 year of
This is after 1 year of Parsons. I would go after school and go intern for him. And then I ended up actually dropping out of Parsons and thinking like, oh, I could like make it. I'm working for this guy who like works with A$AP Rocky. This could be crazy.
Right.
But ultimately, it was just like a step on the path. That afforded me the opportunity to work at this Nike customization store in New York, which I just dropped out of school and I landed myself a job at quote unquote Nike. And, for me, I was coming home every day with like 20, 30 custom t-shirts. And it was this feeling of just like, oh, I could be endlessly creative. Can I find an outlet for me that allows me to be creative, create new ideas? And, my first experience while working at that Nike store was riding my bike to work every day. I got hit by a car, riding my bike to work, and I needed something to keep myself safe. So the next day I went into work after getting hit by a car, and I started making reflective socks. And this was a whole story of having a brand that was all based around running and cycling, keeping you safe at night by cars' lights hitting it, and those reflective socks creating illumination, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a brand that I did over like 3-4 years. I got an investor, lost the whole thing, basically signed a bad deal, gave him 51% ownership because he had invested $1 million at the time, and had the nice learning lesson of getting a call where I was terminated from my own company. I had to move out to California, lost everything, and I was living in my friend's second bedroom right off Fairfax, and he had his own brand called Pleasures. And Pleasures is a well-known streetwear brand that's very akin to our world. And I was going to work with him every day. And he looked at me in the face and was like, do you want to be sitting at home while we go to Tokyo to do pop-up shops? And I was just like, no, I don't. Like, this sucks. And that was like a moment of just a visceral, like, oh, I got to figure this out.
Right.
A friend of mine called me, said, hey, I want to make a t-shirt that says, fuck you, fucking fuck, which is inspired by Canal Street in New York.
Right.
And that was the moment where like we started designing all these different t-shirts. I made a shirt with a smiley face on it. I did that fuck you, fucking fuck shirt. I did a few others. And all of a sudden I made this design that said, thank you, have a nice day. And it had like, just like this thank you rose on it, which is a classic motif from like bodegas and things like that. And quickly we had this brand that was like inspired by downtown New York. And I had 5 graphics. One of the graphics was literally a graphic that said Frank Ocean with the Nike swoosh in between. And that was at the time when Frank had released that song Nikes. And it was really well known. It was just popular. And I showed up to ComplexCon, which is like a consumer trade show. And I had that shirt up. It sold out in like an hour, but I only had like 50 of them. So I was like, you know what? What if I put up a website called swooshfrankocean.com? And I literally put up the website the next day. I woke up to my phone just vibrating viscerally. And I was like, this must be broken, the charger or whatever. And it was literally the Shopify, just sale, 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 sale. And all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, like I did like 50K in sales in less than 24 hours. And I'm like, I'm moving out of my friend's second bedroom, getting a car. I'm good. I'm not broke anymore. I'm paying my credit card off. And, you know, I had one of those moments where like, I'm good. And then I got an email from Frank's team, trademark infringement.
I was going to say,
I'm like,
how did that
shit.
work out?
And I just had to return all the money. I cancel all the orders. But I had that moment of like, if I have an idea in the morning, I put it online by noon, and I ship it out the next morning, I might have something special. As long as I can do it a little bit more legally, I might have something that could actually grow here. Right. So fast forward, here we are, you know, brand called Market, you know, sold globally, and, you know, grew from me literally being in a small studio hand making t-shirts, literally hand writing the neck labels in, to, you know, now where it's like 25 people in an office over near Pasadena, you know, great brand, and I'd say a great team that personifies hopefully the next generation of what, you know, having a business or a brand should look like.
Absolutely. How did you come up with the name Market? Because it was Chinatown Market before.
Yeah, it was Chinatown Market before. You know, I think the brand went through its own reckoning in its own time to kind of also recognize maybe what wasn't right at the time when the name Chinatown Market happened. Because really, I started it inspired by Canal Street, New York. I didn't acknowledge probably the cultural sensitivity that it might have around the name. And, you know, I think through everything that happened through pandemic, we had to make a change, you know, and I think proactively we decided to make that change and try to evolve forward rather than standing our ground and fighting, you know, what's happening out there in the world. The world's changed, you know, Absolutely. And maybe 10 years ago, you could understand the nuance of why I created this brand that was inspired by Canal Street, New York, but I also could have named it a different name. It didn't need to be Chinatown, which, you know, ultimately it's not where people chose to live, it's where they had to live. And so there's a lot of history that I think maybe wasn't considered when I started the brand off of like making some riff t-shirts and showing up to Complex Con. And all of a sudden I looked around 3 years later and I was like, oh, this is a lot bigger than what it was when I just started this as a fun side project. And, you know, it took on a life that wasn't even intended from the beginning. And so I think as we evolved, it was just like, let's just drop the Chinatown moniker and just let it be Market, you know, and Absolutely. We are the market of the internet. It's very much like the mentality of, you know, like I said earlier, we can have an idea in the morning, put it online by noon and ship it out the next morning. Yeah, and we live very much always on internet mentality. And, you know, whether it's commenting on things that are happening in pop culture or making things that feel like, you know, we're almost giving you access to nostalgia, but in a new way. You know, we worked with Absolutely. Erykah Badu to help launch, you know, her like merch collection, which then inspired her to go create Badu World Market, or, you know, these things like that, where we're helping to give new perspectives to people when they're coming out into the world. And so I think even Tyson's a great example when we worked with him, and, you know, he had a crazy run after we worked with him. And it was all off of just like bringing back that energy that was almost dormant for a while.
Absolutely. So how do you pick, like, because you guys have worked with a lot of celebrities, how do you guys pick and choose from the plethora of celebrities that are out there?
It's a definitely like interesting thing. I think for me, it's part of like trying to catch it at the right time, because like, you know, I want to tap a little bit of that nostalgia so that I hate to say older crowd, but like I'm 32 and I'd say from 30 to 45, like I want that crowd to be like, that's really interesting. And I want that young crowd to be like, I want to discover more about what this is. Absolutely. They might know it a little bit, but they don't know all of it. And so part of it's like an interesting kind of like push and pull of like, how can I give enough nostalgia, but also give enough of like that feeling of newness to where this feels like a new perspective to something that you've always known.
Absolutely. So you guys have certain pieces that are like collectibles. And how did you guys come up with those pieces to be collectible pieces as opposed to like mass market produce?
I think that it's interesting, like the smiley basketball that I brought you when I came in here, you know, those
Which is
objects.
So dope, guys.
Yeah, and it was like fusing things that I've always loved, because, you know, instead of just do it, it's you can do it too. And while I love basketball, I grew up playing, I had aspirations of trying to take it further, but you know what, this man can't touch the rim, so you know what, it's not happening. But, you know, it's like trying to just memorialize the feelings of sport, the feelings of like being a part of these things. And to me, the smiley basketball is like what it feels like to be a fan, you know? Absolutely. And that's the difference, is like, we're not all dunking, we're not all going to win a championship, but like, I'm going to be a part of that feeling. And I think that's where creating iconic products like that, they transcend sport and they become part of culture, you know? And that's where I think it's fun. Like, I want to make products that make people smile, and ultimately a regular, you know, orange basketball that has a brand on it doesn't make you smile. The game does.
110%.
The energy does. And that's
and it's a different feeling when you get a basketball with a smiley face as opposed to a regular basketball.
Yeah.
Or even gloves, like the gloves with a smiley face, to just be able to be like, okay, I'm going to whoop some ass today, or I'm going to hit a bag, and I have smiley face on my hand.
Exactly.
You know, it just makes us so much more happy.
Yep.
Just to see that happiness, even
Absolutely.
just right now. I mean, I have smiley faces on my nails. Like it just is so much more better to have a happy moment than an angry moment or a sad moment.
Absolutely.
And it just takes less effort to be happy.
And just bringing fun to something so serious. Sports can be so serious sometimes, but ultimately it's also about the fun of the game. And I'm sure you even see, like, raising a family, etc. It's all actually connected to, like, how do you actually bring fun to the kid before they get to the point where, like, you know, like your husband is professionally doing it, but there's a lot of time where they have to actually have fun to want to get there.
Yeah. Let them be kids, you know, and enjoy life. And that's the beauty of it. And that's, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be serious all the time.
Yeah. And while I might hate participation trophies, I'm here for the fun of the game. You know,
Absolutely.
and like, I may be still a competitor and,
we all hate
fight for
participation
it
trophies.
100%. But, like, you know what? There should be some level of fun with this.
Yeah, I don't want the E for effort. I want the A because I tried my damn hardest.
Exactly. I want to learn my lesson if I fail.
It's crazy because I had a conversation about this the other day, right?
Yep.
Like, everyone has their craft that they've mastered, their niche or whatever that may be. One thing I can say is, as long as you're trying, that's all that matters to me.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if me or you or whatever was to go on a game show, and let's just say it was a basketball game show, now we're talking about basketball.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to be first all the time. You're not going to be first all the time because we're not professional basketball players. But if we're
100%.
talking about fashion, that's a whole nother thing where you could be first, you know, in fashion, and then someone else could be first in basketball, and then I could be first in talking or whatever, modeling, whatever it is. And it's just like everyone has their little niche. But as long as you're trying, that's all that matters.
Exactly. And I think consistency is really actually the thing, because many people who have mediocre talent, if they keep on showing up and they keep on being persistent, they're ultimately going to break through. And someone who has more talent than them or more anything will maybe not win as much as the person who just kept showing up and kept on trying. And that's like the personification of my life. Like, I'm not the best illustrator. I'm not the best designer. I'm not the best of anything. But ultimately, I put my ass out there, and I'm willing to put my neck on the line because I love this game and I love doing this. And, like, ever since I was a kid, I was like, whatever I can do to just get in to the door, I will do, because I believe I deserve to be here.
Absolutely. And that's all that. I feel like it starts with your mentality.
Yeah.
Once you have that knocked down, everything else follows through.
100%.
So with all that going on with, you know, market, and it's growing rapidly, how do you have time for your loved ones, friends, family, creating a family, you know?
I mean, you know what? I think it's one of the hardest things that I'm still working on today, you know, because I have for so long probably put so many eggs in my basket into work. I am a workaholic. I, you know, will get to my office at 7 a.m. I'll be there till 8. You know, it's a thing where I'm continuing to learn how to disconnect and also how to find time for, you know, my loved ones, but also even for myself.
Absolutely.
You know, because for so long it was like, I never left my office for lunch. I never went off and did anything. I didn't go out at night. I barely drink. You know, I'm a kid of an alcoholic, etc. So there's many other factors. But the reality for me was, like, I was just so driven to say, like, I'm going to keep doubling down, never take money for myself. I'm going to just keep on investing in my team and my whole company, and I'll figure it out.
Right.
And luckily it found its way. But I think that it's been a challenging one because, you know, it is hard to always find that. You know, I'm always trying to balance my love of work with, you know, my partner and how I can invest into her. And, you know, it is challenging. There definitely is disparity to it sometimes because I have this thing that I'm putting so much attention to, and I recognize I need to also nurture the other things in my life, which, you know, you see your parents sometimes. I have those moments where I leave seeing my family and I almost like cry knowing that, you know, we only have so many more times that we get to see our parents. Like,
Absolutely.
There's that Aziz Ansari stand-up where he literally is like, if you look at the whole year, you see your parents 6 times, and then if you times that by, I don't know, 20 years, and you can look at the fact that you're going to see your parents less than like 100 times in the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, and like when you start playing that over in your head, you're like, damn, when I look at like, why am I hanging out? Like, I want to leave, I want to go home, or I got some things going on, or I'm jumping on the call, or I'm getting off the phone quickly with my mom. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, let me appreciate all these things, because if I don't realize that, they'll be gone, and then I'm not going to have that anymore.
Yeah, and then you have that regret of like, you know, I should have focused more on family and friends than business, but it's also like you have that tug and pull with businesses, because it's like, hey, this is how I'm going to be able to spend time and enjoy my time with my family and friends if I nurture this business. So
It's a hard
one.
And I'm obsessive compulsive. Like, I know myself. Like, that's where I got so deep into work. Or, like, I'm getting into tennis now. And, like, I literally am, like, watching tennis YouTube. And I'm, like, working on my game. I'm taking classes. Like, I'm finding all the ways I can become the best. Right. You know, and that's the same thing no matter what. It's just, like, I'm going to do that obsessively. Like, I collect rugs. Well, now I have, like, 100 rugs. And I'm just, like, buying all these weird, obscure rugs off eBay. I'm buying them from people. But, like, it's like the fun of being a human in a sense. It's like to consume and have fun and experience and to learn new things.
Absolutely, 110%. Yeah. So for everyone that comes on, we play this game of Would You Rather. I play with you too, so you're not in the hot seat by yourself. So we're going to pick 2 cards. We're going to do 3 rounds of cards.
Okay.
I'm going to go first.
All right.
All right. Would you rather only be able to eat food that has been made into a paste, or be thrown into a bullfight with no training whatsoever?
But, like, eat it for the rest of your life. It's like Soylent, essentially.
Yeah, the paste.
Oh, my God.
Only be able to eat food that's been made into a paste.
Fuck.
I'm a texture person, so I'm like, I don't know.
I'm a big texture person. I mean, if it tasted good, then maybe great, but I guess if it's only one time, I'll go into the bullfight for one time, yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. I don't know, because I like cheeseburgers. I like, like tasting things. I don't know if a life of not tasting things is worth a broken leg, but hey.
Yeah, but what if it's more than a broken leg? It's a bullfight. Like, what if you can't,
This is true, but yeah, I don't know.
That,
it
like,
sounds like a life
training.
of Soylent is not for me. So.
Right, it's like, what if you come in there and you're just like, didn't even look up anything about bullfighting, and you're just like red from head to toe, mark it down, red, and everything.
This is true. You know what? Like, yeah, I'll put it on the line just to see if I can make it through. Do I pick 2?
I'm with you, yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Would you rather find out that there's a perfect clone of you that is trying to take over your life, or have irremovable nostril hairs that extend past your upper lip?
I am doing the clone.
Yeah, I figured as
I'm doing the clone. I mean, I love my life, don't get me wrong, but I think a clone would be fun sometimes.
Yeah, I'd be okay with a clone.
Yeah,
versus
set me in for business and work so I can chill a little bit, spend more time with the kids.
You could set a trend, though, because I think everyone nowadays, it's like the unibrow thing, so maybe the nose hair thing's the next.
Yeah, just extra long nostril hairs.
Yeah,
not it. I just can't see myself with, like,
definitely not.
I would rather do an extra long pubic hair than an extra long nostril hair.
Yeah, because at least you can braid that.
Yeah, at least you can put it up. Like, you don't have to see the pubes of it. The nostril hair is like every day. Come on.
100%. Unless it was like a full-on, full-on hair going on. Like, I don't know if you'd do it the whole on.
Yeah, if it's like a lot going on down there, no.
Yeah.
But if it's just like one strand,
oh man,
we can make it work.
That would also be kind of weird. But hey, we'll take it.
All right. Would you rather wear a neck brace for the rest of your life, or drop 100-pound barbell on your foot?
One time?
Yeah, one time.
That sounds like I'm going to take the barbell or like the 100-pound thing, because like I could
the rest of your life.
Heal my foot, but like
you're like moving like this.
I'm not doing
the rest of your life.
Yeah, you can't do anything in life.
Yeah, and everything's just slower.
That's a rough one. All right. Would you rather be unable to close your eyes or have no mouth?
Oh, man. I love to talk and I love to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. But be unable to close my eyes? So no sleep? Or am I just sleeping with my eyes open and look crazy?
Yeah, exactly. You're just crazy.
Who's going to want to, Deontay's not going to want to sleep with me. The kids are going to be like, Mom,
why are you
I want to
staring
sleep
at me
with
when you kiss me? Like, yeah.
That's, I guess never be able to close my eyes.
Yeah.
Because
I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see what's going on. At least I could see what's going on, but I still want rest. As long as I could rest and my eyes don't burn, like, when your eyes are open so long.
Yeah, you're almost like constantly have like eye drops.
I need those things for like from the Saw movie that just like hold your eyes open the whole time.
Oh my God.
All right, last but not least.
Cool.
Have a head the size of a tennis ball, since you're so into tennis now.
Jeez.
You would
like
get
those
this
weird
card.
guys, like long neck dude or whatever. Like,
right?
Oh no.
Head the size of about this big.
That's disgusting.
Or attempt to clear a 50-foot jump on a motorcycle with no training or experience.
I mean, I would die. It sounds like I just want to off myself, because living with the tennis ball head would not be it, and I know I'm dying on the 50. 50 foot.
50-foot jump is crazy.
Yeah, there's no way. And even if I make it, my whole body's going to be crushed.
It's like, I mean, the landing itself is like...
Yeah, if I had like a parachute, cool, but I can't live with my... At that point, I'm just putting my life on the line. I'm doing the 50-foot jump, and I'm just going to see what happens, because like living my life with a tennis ball head would be the hardest thing ever.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, like,
exactly.
Deontay taught me how to ride a motorcycle on a Hayabusa, which is like massive.
Oh God.
And I'm like, first of all, I'm 5'5".
Yeah.
And I can't even put it in this. Yeah, I can't even like center it to like be able to ride it.
Yeah, just like, have your feet in the ground or anything. Like,
yeah, it's
that sounds
too
horrible.
big. It's
I'm
too
good.
big. So
yeah, just to
a
feel like
jump,
I'm like tipping over.
Yeah, like a jump on a motorcycle. Like, come on, that's insane.
We'll hope for a parachute.
Agreed.
All right. Would you rather be unable to communicate with someone without having intense eye contact? So you'd have to have intense eye contact whenever you talk to someone.
Okay.
Or would you rather only be able to whisper?
Oh, I'd rather whisper than just, and I'm just like staring. I think that's a little weird, but if I whisper, I'd be like, it's already like a loud environment.
I just lost my voice forever.
Yeah, forever. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah, that one sounds a lot easier than jumping off a 50-foot bike jump.
Yeah, you gave me the good cards.
Yeah, exactly.
I was happy and content with that. Okay, tell everybody what you have going on, what's new for Market, what's coming up, all that good stuff, and where they can find you.
Yeah, you can follow Market on Instagram at Market. For us, it's always putting out crazy, wacky releases, things you would never expect. Follow us on Instagram to just see like weird happenings of our world every day.
What's the most like craziest thing you guys have came out with that just went like viral?
There's been so many crazy viral moments. I think like one example is we had Hasbullah come to our office, who's like that little Dagestani kid that you probably seen on the internet, who literally loves like driving fast cars and hangs out with like UFC fighters, and he just came to our office and repped a bunch of different crazy cars we had at the office. Obviously, like the Mike Tyson thing, where he came to our office, took over the whole thing, became the creative director, shipping manager, etc. So we released a project with Grateful Dead that literally broke the internet. It was like LeBron wearing an entire outfit of everything that we did, where we did a Crocs collab, we did a whole Grateful Dead thing, and it all came out one time, and just literally it was just like a takeover of our world, And those moments where you're creating a product that just like transcends culture in a way like that is the stuff that I'm always trying to strive to do. Even for us, it's like we'll go do a collab with Dennis Rodman, and then we go do a collaboration with My Chemical Romance, And so like being able to hit those different spectrums to me is the most fun of what we do, because I'm a man of ADD. I like to jump around and try different things and be able to have fun. And so it's fun to be able to like touch these different worlds that are in different spectrums and have different people involved with them and see how I can almost like bring them together. Because when we did the Grateful Dead thing and LeBron wore the stuff, like I saw so many angry Grateful Dead fans being like, name 5 songs, tell us what he loved. And I'm like, no, it's not about that. It's about how you can bring people from worlds that don't know the Grateful Dead and come to experience it. Absolutely. And it's not about keeping people out nowadays. It's about how can you create platforms that bring people together to collaborate on something that they all don't know, but can enjoy and appreciate it in different ways.
I love that.
That's the goal of all this stuff. And I think that's why you do this podcast. That's why any of these things. And that's what gets me excited every day to create products that people can experience, because I hope it just brings them into a new world.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to break through every day. It's like,
love it.
I don't know. If I can do that with products and create products that make you smile, like I said
earlier. You are doing that with products.
Yeah, 100%. But that's like always the challenge that is renewed every time we're trying to create something.
Absolutely. So. And where can they find you?
Yep. So obviously you can find me on Instagram at Mike Cherman. Find us on online at marketstudios.com. And ultimately find us at your favorite Urban Outfitters, Nordstrom, all those kind of spots. I think the brand's all about being, as inclusive while being exclusive at the same time. It walks that line, and I want to show kids why they can do it too. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
make sure you guys tune in to all things that Mike has going on, and all the new launches that Market has in store. And that is it for Telli Talks.